Okay, good evening all and welcome to the BATC Net. Let's just give it a bit more coal on the fire just to make sure everybody can see me. There's nobody else on the transponder. Nice to see so many people tonight. We've got 6, 8, 10. There'll be 12 of us, so please keep the overs short. Make that 13. With Tony on the end. Going to be Jim G7NTG first, so Jim, you can be prepared to transmit. Yes, I've got you, Mike. You're down at number 3 after Jen. News, what's been going on this week? Well, we've got CQTV out of the door. You should all have received the electronic copy of it. And on Wednesday we did a little overhaul of the website, slightly different appearance. There were some initial problems on mobile devices, but hopefully we've fixed those, certainly horizontally this evening, and I've got a fix to sort it out vertically later. In other news, bit of work going on both Ryde, Winter Hill and Portsdown, looking at some other input devices for Portsdown with Pluto. Portsdown 4 with Pluto should enable us to use some different EasyCap devices, and somebody's come up with some code to do quick tune on the Portsdown receiver, so I'll be trying to put that in. In answer to Terry, the can of WD-40 got moved for the Cat 20 and hasn't come back. It's still on the shelf across the shack. Right, the order will be Jim G7NTG, followed by Jen G4HIZ, Mike G0MJW, Richard GI4DOH, James G0DQH, Bernie G4HJW, Martin G4FKK, Rob M0DTS, Brian GW4KZ. Then I've written down Noel's call sign. That should give you enough time to build your ride. Gareth G4XAT and Tony G0AZQ at the end. I'll type that out in a minute. So straight round to Jim. G7NTG to take it, GHGKQ and the BATC Net.
Right, good evening. Let's see if it comes on. Yep. Turn some sound off so I don't feed back. Right, the sound might be a bit quiet actually because I'm still using the microphone on this camera. You can probably all see that I'm well due a haircut. I haven't had one for 2 years now, so but yeah, not a fantastic amount to report on. There was a small error on my article in CQTV where I that worked out nicely. I've also just starting to negotiate for taking an order for a Portsdown 4, which I've not really made one for anybody else before. That'll be interesting, apart from the ones I've got out on loan, of course. I've got a few out on loan locally, and I hope they don't all return them at once because I've got nowhere to put them all. But Sugar Victor 8 Romeo Victor in Greece has ordered Portsdown 4, so I'm just doing all the costing now for him. Anyway, Right, enough to keep the over short. Round to Jen, G4HIZ from G7NTG. And leaving time.
Thanks, Jim. G4HIZ and the BATC Net. Good evening, everyone. Just for, oops. G4HIZ and the BATC Net. Good evening, everyone. Oops. That's better. Must remember to point the remote at the actual Ryde receiver. Anyway, here we go again. So, good evening, everyone. Yeah, it'll be the one and only over tonight because Joan, 2E0HIZ, full-time job has put her into Christmas mode, and she starts at 6 AM tomorrow. So, helping everyone get their shopping. So, what have we been up to? Okay, second Ryde receiver built. You may have seen it on the forum. So, it's a little common. I found
Okay, thanks, Jen. Wait for the picture to appear and then rapidly mute myself so I don't deafen myself by accident. So, right, hopefully people will have locked on that. I'm just not looking at the chat at the moment, so I better look at it now. Yeah, it looks okay and we can hear, so great. Not a lot for me to say really this week. I've not been doing very much. It's been final week at work. At the weekend I concentrated on getting my Polish amp to work. So it's now working. Well, it was working before. I just needed to wire up and do all the cabling, which I will take up to Bolton. And hopefully I'll be able to get onto the net, but possibly not. It's only a 1 meter dish. So the chances of getting a good signal through it are rather limited unless I use very low bit rate, which I can do. But you'll have to be patient looking for the signal. What can I show you? Well, Jen showed you the test card thing. I made one too. So here's mine, using a Pi 0 Wi-Fi in a rather small case. It's just a 3D printed case. I guess you can see that. I haven't actually got any use for it though, because I usually use OBS. So I'm not quite sure why I made one, but I did anyway. Mostly I use those for other applications. Anyway, okay. Right, that's enough for me. I think I'll come on later on the next over. But if I don't speak to anyone, all the best for Christmas and the New Year. G0MJW. Passing it on to GI4DOH. Richard, I think.
One, two, three. Yeah, Good evening all from GI4DOH. Thanks Mike for the introduction. So with the net, it's nice to be back and everything working. I had a little bit of trouble last week with the weather, and rain was certainly stopping play, and the to go with the stuff, and I also it's James. Next, if I'm not on again, if we do an extra. So for DOH.
Okay, G0DQH. Just check audio coming back. There we are. Okay. Yes, good evening everyone. And while I remember, I won't actually be here next week. I should be in Pembroke with a bit of luck. I mentioned last week I had a couple of high voltage power supplies, and I've got another one if anyone's interested. I'll just bring that up. I took a photograph of that, and it's 48 volts at 20 amps if anyone's interested. It's boxed and it's unused. And also I've still got some of these that were donated by Exfo, the company I work for in Chelmsford. They're 24 volts at 6 amps, and they're free. If you want one of these, 2 have gone out already. Colin's had a couple, and John's had a couple as well. So they're free. All I need is the postage for those to get to whoever wants one. And also, if I can get up to the screen here, as I mentioned last week, I've got some of these as well. They're used X equipment. They're 9 to 36 volts in and plus 12 out at 1¼ amps. I use one of these for my PA, for the bias on the PA. I did have a Chinese unit in there. It didn't last more than a couple of months, so hopefully this will last a lot longer. Anyway, I wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Just bring myself back up. And I'll see you maybe in a fortnight's time. From G0DQH in Chandlersford, 5 miles north of the city of Southampton. I'm looking for my remote because I run everything remotely here. This is the fob for the PA on and off. Okay.
Evening all from G4HJW in Cambridge, and it's been a very sunny Cambridge today, so I suspect that's a fairly wide spread, but a very nice day. Just come over to the camera. Yeah, there we are. It's been a lovely day today. Like Jen, that will only be on for 1 over. It's the 4-metre UKAC, and I've never listened to that. I've just put an antenna up, and there's quite a bit of noise that I haven't had on other occasions, which may be coming from the shack here. So I will listen round for the full for everybody's over. I won't be rude enough to disappear before that, but I won't come back for a second over. This is probably a question for Dave. I tried to change my audio to AAC, but it was greyed out on DATV Express. So the question is just a simple one. Would you expect that? There's no need. If that sounds as though it shouldn't be like that, i.e. it should do AAC, just that'll be enough, and I'll follow it up. But I couldn't see any way of changing that, so I'm as I have been right the way from the beginning. I haven't been doing any TV this week. Well, on the basis that size is everything, I've been building my light box in preparation for, if I can just get the light to reflect off it. I've ordered, yeah, there we are. I've ordered, see if I can get that down. God, that delay is terrible. I've ordered a 300mm Fresnel, which is quite a bit bigger than, well, certainly the size that I'll illuminate is bigger than the A4 Fresnel. But I've used Fomalux, black Fomalux, and I'm really pleased with it. It's 10mm and it's very sturdy. 2.9 kilograms, I don't think that's too bad. And I do wonder if I could have used something thinner than that, but I'm happy with that. It was a bit on the pricey side, but I'm very lucky. I live near Cambridge Engineering Plastic in Cherry Hinton, and they're a brilliant shop. You can go in, they'll natter to you and sell you off cuts, you know, knock the price down as much as they can. So I consider that to be very, very lucky. And that's about it, I think. So I'll wish everybody a happy Christmas. And although I won't come on the next over, as I say, I will listen to everybody's over and keep my eye on the text on the Goon Hilly site. So over to Martin. Got to what you call sign up. Sorry about that, Martin. I'm not very good at multitasking, particularly as I've got older. G4F.
Yeah, very good, Bernie. I'm glad I'm not the only one who can't multitask. TV directoring is no good at all. Anyway, good evening everybody, and good signals from everyone. not much to report here other than I've had some big heat sinks delivered. Thanks for those, Jim. And I shall be drilling holes in them ever so shortly and trying a different one of those three device amplifiers. I love the shirt, Mike. That's really good. And I guessed it was probably green. And very interesting on the upside down dishes. I wonder, Gareth, if that might explain some of the strange issues you've been having lately. That'd be good. I've been doing amateur radio care in the community. Dave, you sent a Ryde card to one of my locals, Alan, G8TQK. So he brought it round here with all the bits. So I put that together. That's working nicely. So hopefully Alan will be able to use that soon. He also brought round a 2-meter preamplifier, which wasn't working. I'm not sure if the sound was working on that. Anyway, that was a 2-meter preamp G8, a G4 DDK one. Right, so I'll keep it short. It's round to you, Rob, I think. M0 DTS, if I got the call sign right, G4 FKK. And if I don't speak to any of you again this year, have a great Christmas. G4 FKK, over.
Well, there we go. Yeah, evening everyone. Well, that's me flashy lights on the antenna mast out there. You can't see it really, but there are some lights on it. I've been fiddling around with that today just to keep people happy, as you do. I wasn't going to bother too much because the amount of noise it generates on 2 meters is pretty bad. If I get the camera, you will see. There you go. There's a lot of noise down here. That's when it changed sequence. So there's a lot of noise on 2 meters, but yeah, I can just turn it off if you talk to anybody. Other than that, it's working good. The other lights in the background are still working. So this week I have mainly been not doing anything at radio RF particularly, just odd little jobs and things like that. Just starting basically now, just prepping to drop all the new bits of KM off up at Terry at the repeater. So that'll be happening in the next few days. And Terry can start putting it all together, and hopefully it all goes to plan. So you might see some signals again on KM Stream in the new year once we get all plumbed in and everything. So that should be good. So it's going to free up a nice space on the bench here. So these rides that I've got here that are actually running on KM at the moment, I've got number 1 and number 2. I'll actually be able to utilise them 2 Raspberry Pis for other things then. So that's good. Yeah, I guess Noel, you've read the comments and stuff I put on the forum about the repeater and stuff. So yeah, you must have been, well, you were pretty busy running the show while we were doing the talks and things, so haven't been at last week, haven't succeeded. After well, probably on tonight, lively when
the I diagnosed that the set-top box had failed, so I replaced it with well, no, set-top box failed, so I decided I would replace it with a Ryde, but the only Ryde I'd got was the one sitting here in the shack. So I dragged that up there on Tuesday, I think it was, Monday, Tuesday, and the 77 receive system now seems particularly deaf, so I need to do a return trip, but the intention is to run a Ryde up there. I modified mine so it key HP's logic, so that's a return trip that's got to happen, but then it meant I was left with no Ryde in the shack. So at 7 o'clock this evening I built a Ryde. It hasn't quite gone to plan because I'm not sure why. I haven't had time to diagnose it, obviously. It's got no audio on HDMI, which is a bit bizarre. So this is it. I think I ought to show you the case that it's in. So I win the prize for the case of the week, I think. Anyway, yes. So it is working, but I'm not sure why I haven't got any audio on HDMI. Yeah, the previous one worked on this monitor fine. Anyway, something else for later. Anyway, to Gary. And you know, oh, apart from Bernie and the
muted that. Good. That was a good set of overs. Thanks very much to all of you. John, yeah, nothing at the beginning there, but the rest of that was very good. Okay, in no particular order then, pleased to hear that Portsdown 4s are being exported to Greece. That's interesting. Jen, your comp video generator, yep. The one I have made is this fella here. You may have seen that on the forum. So it's got the camera on the front there is the black dot, the button and switch on the side, and flying leads for the 12 volts in and the BNC out. The other thing I did this week was issued a new version of software for it. Very marginal changes, but it gets rid of the flash of text on the black screen between the test cards. And the good news is I don't have to make up the SD cards to send out in the shop. AAC and DATV Express, I don't think it does it. I haven't managed to select it, but so don't worry too much about it. Noel, yeah, you had a couple of video freezes during your audio. You're over. HDMI audio, try disconnecting and reconnecting the monitor. And the other thing you can do is go in the console menu. If you select HDMI safe mode, it should make sure that you get audio out of the HDMI. Give that a try, and at least you'll work out that it can work. Gareth, good to see you on. The signal unfortunately was a little marginal. You dropped out once or twice with me, mainly because there are so many people on. How to record a stream. I put a link which you can just see at the top of the page there, Tony. It's documented on the wiki. There is a link further up there. Perhaps you can give that a try now and just check you understand that. Mike commented you can also record using VLC. If you open the stream in VLC, you can record it there. Didn't quite understand what system you were talking about with your second question. DVB-T, yeah, well, we've been technically limited. You know, there haven't been any solutions that do reduced bandwidth DVB-T. However, the good news is this week, as of last night, Charles G4GUO managed to get DVB-T working in 500 kilohertz. And a number of us are working on that. How is my NUCA? Asked Mike, my DVB-T receiver. The bits arrived from DigiKey today, so I should be putting it together tomorrow, is the answer on that, Mike. I'll be working on that over the next couple of days. Last thing for me to say is next week I might be around. If so, I'll run the net. If not, anybody can take it and run the net. We'll have the next couple of weeks as optional. Don't forget, of course, the BATC activity contest will start soon. So take a look at the rules for that and be good to see your entries. Right, I'll go around for a sort of light second over from everybody who said they were going to come up. So round to Jim, G7NTG. G8GKQ and the BATC's net.
Right, that shouldn't take too long to come on. No, it didn't. So, turn off the mute the audio. There we go. Then I want feedback on everything. Yes, exports to Greece. Possibly, as long as the price is okay, because I don't make much on it. It's just it enough to cover all the bits, which is a lot. And also, I'm very pleased that Martin and Gareth received their heat sinks from me. I buy heat sinks in bulk. I initially was buying them 4 at a time, but the last batch I bought 10, a big investment, but they've had the... So anybody else wants a big heat sink, here they are. This one is actually built into an amplifier, and as you can see, it's a beast of an amplifier. And for scale, you've got a 716 socket on there. The heatsink is 250 by 200 by 40, and they work out at just over £25 each, and I don't think you're going to get one of those for that price anywhere else. So if you want to drop me an email, I'm quite happy to sell them on, and just over 25 quid plus postage, depending on quantity. So quite happy to do that. Because I'm getting them so regularly now. I think I've probably gone through about 25 of them on various amplifiers. Anyway, my video is freezing now, I see, because I'm moving around a lot. So, just watching on the ride. Anyway, I'm going to pass it on to Jen now, G4HIZ, if you're next on. Oh, no, Dave has just corrected me. It's ran to Mike, G0MJW from G7NTG. And I wish everybody, see you next week. Good night all.
Right. Hopefully I've got a signal coming out. Right. Hopefully I've got a signal coming out. I can hear myself anyway, so that's something. Now I've got to mute myself until in case I go bad. Right, yeah, interesting heat sinks you've got there, Jim. That's a useful thing to have. I've got mostly surplus ones, but it's useful to have ones that actually fit in the boxes that you design, so good to see those. One of the things I've been trying to do is gather old BNOS amplifiers that either no longer work or aren't particularly useful, because the cases were wonderful, and I've used several of those, or reused several of those now, for amplifiers for 23 sems and 13 sems, and also for 4 meters and for 2 meters, and 70 sems actually. So they make very nice little amplifier cases, nicely heat-sinked. So if you can find a good source of that sort of heat-sink case, that's something to use, and get plenty of them as well, because sources dry up in of those sort of things. Anyway, not a lot to add to this. One thing was commented on, I think, was the 4 meter contest. I've made 3 contacts so far. Maybe I'll have a few more. But that's what 4 meters looks like at the moment here. So there's quite a few people active. They'll be calling CQ for quite a while, I suspect. So I don't need to worry too much, but quite a few people on the band, and some pretty strong signals around here, because we've got quite a few locals. Right, I don't think there's much else to add, but I was looking around for my Nooker, and I couldn't find it, and then I remembered I'd taken it downstairs in preparation to take it to Bolton for further testing. I've not tried 500 kilohertz yet. I suspect it's possible with GNU radio, but I haven't had a go. But I have got Linux installed now on this PC, so I can dual boot and use Linux. I've also got GNU radio working to transmit in Windows, but the problem with Windows is it makes it difficult to compile things. It's rather difficult to modify blocks. So if something you want's not there, you have to rebuild it and compile it, which is fine in Linux, but not in Windows unless you have all the tools. Okay, as I said, Merry Christmas. I may well not be on next week, or if I am, I'll be a pathetically weak signal. So let's see who it's going to. Oh, it doesn't say. Oh, yes, it does. It's switched again. GI4DOH from G0MJW.
Right, I think I'm here. Thanks, Mike. This is GI4DOH with the group. Again, I think I've got everything running. We're still getting used to this, and still a wee bit on edge with all the things that I need to check on, but seems to be getting better, and having got round that rain problem, that was a bit of a concern. That I could see there were days that I would be able to operate and days that I wouldn't. So that's a nice step forward with just that little cover, making sure that there's nothing to collect raindrops close to the dual feed. So I've got a few other things on the go. I've just replaced the valves, the output valves in an FT101ZD for somebody. That was quite interesting. There was 40 years of muck in the thing, and sort of had to neutralise them. So that was an interesting task down at the HF end. I don't do a lot in the way of VHF things. I do have a 3-band vertical for 6 meters through 70 centimeters here. There are about 2 other GI stations that I can work from this QTH, and I can work GM3 SEK, who's probably not far off line of sight across the Irish Sea, no great distance there. I have thought of putting up something for 70 centimeters, or even above, in place of 10-meter Moxon that I have here, just to see if I can get anything more and take part in some of these activity days. That's all something for the future. Really, I hadn't touched anything above 6 meters until I started this DATV lark, and now it seems to dominate life, and it's pretty good fun because it's all new stuff for me, and I'm enjoying the steep learning curve, but getting things that work. So I enjoy it, and I enjoy even where I'm just an old man stuck in the house by myself during the day. You know, sort of getting in with the net here is good socially as well. So I wish you all 7-3s a good night. Merry Christmas if I don't make it next week, but I will try and be on next Thursday night. Hope to see you all then. So this is GI4DOH with the group, and try not to cut myself off. Passing to James G0DQH. This is GI4DOH.
Okay, just check the audio. Okay, that's fine. A couple of things I'd like just to mention. My potty and LMB, if I can just bring that up a second. I don't have any problems with water getting in at all. If I just bring up the other picture, and I've used both to cover the TX and the LMB food containers, and I got these from In Excess, and you will know this, Dave, from Landford on the Salisbury Road, and they are actually food containers, and the the one that covers the LNB is actually, the cover is fixed, and the container, if you like, clicks on to the top, which I've just mentioned is fixed. And if I go to the next slide, that one there, you'll see what I mean. So it actually clicks to get access to the inside, and it works brilliantly. It gets all the weather, takes all the weather, no problem at all. And with regard to heat sinks, Jim, this is what I found on the net, on the internet, was this is a heatsink from a Lorenz solar inverter. So I put copper on one side, mounted the driver PA, the main PA, and the bias all on there together. There's two fans which you can't see down the far end, one inside and one on the outside, blowing, if you like. And this one that you can see in the foreground actually sucks the air out. And I go to the next slide. That's the PA, and you could actually see the fan on the other side now blowing in. And I'm looking at the temperature coming back from the garage, because the PA is actually in the garage, and it's showing 10.9 degrees C, so it runs really cool, and no problem. But the fans are a little bit noisy, so I have to make sure the garage is closed and the back door to the garage is also closed. But other than that, it all works brilliantly. It's still showing 10.9 degrees, both the ambient temperature in there plus the temperature on the heatsink. So I don't get any problems anymore with the PA when it was down the bottom of the garden in full sunlight, and I used to be able to just transmit for about 10 minutes, I think, and then shut down. I don't have that problem anymore. On the photograph that you see there, the power supply is on the top shelf. That's the silver box, and the cables run down to the PA with ferrites on them, of course. On all the rest of the gubbins up there are power supplies and the remote for the to switch it all on and off remotely by radio. Okay, that's it from me. Sorry to take up a lot of time there, but I think that gone from a basic station now to this one is just amazing. So I'm quite happy with the way things are going at the moment. Okay, as I said, I won't be here next week. I should be in Pembroke, and I'll be back the weekend, next weekend. Not this weekend, following weekend, that's right. Okay, 7-3s, and catch everyone again in 2 weeks' time. From G0DQH in Chandler's Ford, 5 miles north of the city.
Yeah, okay, James, G4FKK. Hopefully there's some audio. Yes, there is. Good. And yeah, very good. Thoroughly enjoyable watching everyone's pictures and shacks. I think I probably win the award for the most shambolic shack, but everyone else is seem to be in some sort of order. Rob, I was wondering, all that noise on 2 meters your lights are making, I wonder what it does on top band, being a bit of a top bander here. And what other notes have I got here? Oh yeah, Noel, thank you for your top tip on the forum about renaming your Raspberry Pis. So I've got lots of Raspberry Pis running all over the house here. So I took some time to do that. Gareth, yeah, it was good to see you. I only saw you for about 5 seconds, Gareth, because there was another station right next to us who kept popping up, and it was wiping you out on my receiver here. I think I still got some tweaking to do on the dish or the positioning of the dual band patch feed maybe. I noticed Mike wasn't losing you at all. Dish, haven't you, Mike? I think. Oh, and yeah, Mike, getting old 2 meter amplifiers and things. When I was building my 6 meter stroke 4 meter amp and a 300 watt 2 meter amp, I kept buying old 2 meter amplifiers which were being sold as not working, but nearly all of them were quite easy to fix, and then I didn't have the heart to rip the gubbins out. But there's another good one. If I go over to as that, let's put that camera back up there, and thanks everyone for the interesting information. And oh, Richard, I forgot to mention, yeah, my radome, as I like to call it, is actually an Iceland carrier bag. And I know there are other makes of carrier bags, but Iceland are really good because they don't seem to care whether they suffocate small people who put them on their heads, because there are no holes in them. So they stay dry, but they still suffer with the dreaded raindrops keep falling on your head unit. Right, I think it's back round to you, Rob, if you're still there. M0DTS and the group, BATC Net, G4 Fox King King. Very good night to everyone. And not sure if I can remember. Is it Nawlych Llawan, I think, for the Welsh people amongst us. Back to you, Rob.
Right. Are we on? Yeah, we're on. Okay. There we go. Yeah, top band, quite noisy as well. Well, considering that the string of LEDs, which is these things, it's the what you call it, neopixels in on a bit of flexi PCB with just a like silicon. Well, you can just snip it how many you want and seal the end up, but they run just about parallel with the 3 meters of wire I've got stuck on top of the mast inside the fiberglass pole at the moment. But all my HF is wiped out by a neighbour's house, which is about 40 meters away. Yeah, about 40 meters. And their something. It's up for sale, the house. It's only just had a rebuild. And it looks like possibly something in the gym that looks a bit like a tanning chamber thing. I don't know. Anyway, it looks quite industrial on the pictures that I've seen on the house for sale. So I'm predicting it's that. Plus, where it is located in the house is exactly where my beam peaks up on 2 meters for the noise, which is really strong as well. So it's like offset to the side of the house, and that's where the gym is. So I'm pretty sure that's what the noise source is. So I'm hoping they ain't leaving that there when they move out. But, yeah, but I can't use a great deal of HF. But well, at all anyway. But I don't usually do any HF really. I'm just tuning down there now and see what's. I don't know whether that's, there's just, that's the light. 1937. So yeah, but it is only a 3 meter bit of wire, and the lights are basically a centimetre away from the bit of wire, so it doesn't help matters. What else was I going to comment on? Bernie's light box looks good on them big lenses. Yeah, I was looking at some big lenses for the non-line of sight stuff when I was playing around with that, but I didn't actually get round to doing it. But I did see some like 1 meter square ones or something for not that unreasonable price actually. Can't remember where they're advertised now. It was a lot of googling, and I did come up with a one which had a reasonable focal distance for a 1 meter one. that was quite a size, but we're not going down that road yet. Yeah, I think that's pretty. Just sort of to KM's up to Terry's. So, those of you who have been watching my stream recently, that's been Relay and Cure, I'm going to lose that feature now. So, as of tomorrow, it won't be on. So, sorry to everyone with that. There's been quite a lot of viewers this last week. So. People might miss that one, I don't know, but what are we at the moment? Oh, there's 4 viewers on at the moment. It's not as many, but I think we peaked up at about 12 people watching sometime this afternoon. What else was I going to mention? I don't think there's anything else really. No, I think that's it. So yeah, so the board's been playing the old X. Produce a steady signal out of the Express with the original older software for some reason. Not really sure why that is. Still stuck on that basically, and I basically am stuck. I can't see what's going wrong at the moment, so I've got as far as I can get without pursuing it a lot more, I think. So I'm not sure what. M0 scanning frequency. Yeah, I've got one Ryde scanning the low higher frequencies and SRs. So
Okay, I'm back, am I? Yes, I am. I can hear myself back. And let's just see if this is going to see if that's going to work on record. And yeah, the Bandicam was the one that I mentioned for recording, and I've paid for it. And I've just found out that you can only record 10 minutes unless you pay for it. So I paid for it, and earlier on it chopped me out. So I went on to OBS and recorded the other bits and pieces that I needed to do. So that seems to be working okay. But you showed me that capture card, Rob, and that's the same one as I've got. What success have you had with that? And do you find the same problem as I've had, where the video comes through perfectly okay, but the audio is sometimes there, sometimes not? And if you unplug and plug the plug it back into the computer, then it seems to work. I don't want to hold it because we're going on a bit. So back to you to see whether we've got any answer on that. MZ owned, haven't seen you on EY recently, but not to worry. I did say to Clive you'd probably broken it by putting all that power into it, to which he gave no reply. M0DTSG, it went off for a while, and it was something to do with the receiver. M0DTSG 0.
G0AZQ and the net G8GKQ. Good, that works. Good. I thought that was a really good net. Thanks for everybody's contributions. Before I forget, next, do wish you all a happy Christmas for next week if you're not on. Questions. Bandicam, no idea. Capture devices are a real problem in that most of them are of indeterminate heritage, which was why the BATC sold easy caps, because we actually bought them from one place and then even that place changed supplier on us, so we've got a problem there. I've written down here Portsdown 4 Express. Yes, Rob, I've built an image to start working on that. I built the card this afternoon, so I will have a look at that. I might actually try and get it working on DVB-S first, and then go for DVB-T. I wondered if that might be a better way around. The Nucker, not the Canucker, the Nucker, is currently a box full of DigiKey envelopes, and will be transformed tomorrow into a PCB. That's all I've got. Thank you everybody for contributions. Hope to see you next week, if not the week after, but don't forget the contest. So G8GKQ closing the BATC net for the night and leaving the frequency clear for a free-for-all. Good night all.